What's going on, Jets fans? Welcome into NYJ today. In this video, I'm going to be breaking down my 7-round New York Jets mock draft. I use all 10 of the picks. I break down who I take at each spot and why I decided to take them. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let's go ahead and get after it. Just as a reminder, we are going to give away a free $50 gift card to the Jets shop on April 28th at 8 p.m. We're going to give it away on our live stream that we do every Wednesday night. So if you've been on the fence, this is pretty much your last chance to hit subscribe to have a shot to win this prize. And just a reminder to all of the Jets fans at home, we do hold 10 draft picks in the 2021 NFL draft class. We hold the number 2 overall pick, the 23rd overall pick, 34 in the second round, 66 and 86 in the third round, 107 in the fourth, 146, 154 in the fifth round, and then we hold 186 and 226 in the sixth round. In round 1, pick number 2, the New York Jets are going to select BYU quarterback Zach Wilson. I think that this is just a perfect marriage. I think that he is an outstanding fit for the Shanahan offense that Mike LaFleur is going to be installing with the New York Jets. I think we have Corey Davis, we have Denzel Mims, we have Mekhi Becton. So we do have some players on offense that he can play with. And we don't even know what the Jets are going to do after this pick. And my hope is that they go heavily toward the offense to really build and support for Zach Wilson. For anybody that says that Justin Fields should be the pick, I completely understand it. He has been right along with Zach Wilson for me all offseason. The reason why he's the pick again is just because of that very, very lightning fast release that he has. And he does offer a lot of upside with his running ability. It's not as great as Justin Fields, I get that. But he does have the ability to move and extend plays and to elude defenders that are trying to tackle him. So I just feel like this is just a great pick. And I think he's going to do wonders for the New York Jets. Round 1, pick 23, I have the New York Jets selecting center Creed Humphrey out of Oklahoma. Now, you're starting to see the offensive players get stacked. The young talent on this offense would be much better after we select somebody to stabilize the interior of our offensive line. I think Creed Humphrey would be really, really popular amongst the fan base, and I think he'd be filling a huge need. And when you think about Zach Wilson, we want him to be able to step up in the pocket. We don't want him to feel that pressure in his face. And by drafting Creed Humphrey, we're giving our offensive line a really good shot to be above average, actually. So we would have McGovern push out to guard, which he's played before with the Broncos. We would then have Creed Humphrey in the middle, Mekhi Becton on one end. We'd have George Fant on the other end, and this line can continue to grow together because they're all pretty young. And we're not even talking about Cameron Clark, who could also become a starter this season. We don't even know anything about him. He's a 4th-round pick from last year out of Charlotte. So I'm really excited about the fact that we could get him at 23. I think that a lot of fans who want Tevin Jenkins probably need to just maybe realize that the Raiders really need some offensive line help. They lost, I think, 3 players from their starting offensive line this past year. It would shock me if the Raiders did not consider taking Tevin Jenkins at their spot in the first round. So that's why I've got Creed Humphrey going 23 overall. We are drafting the next Mawai, the next Mangold. We just have to believe. I think that this guy could be outstanding for the New York Jets. Round 2, pick 34, I have the New York Jets selecting guard Wyatt Davis out of Ohio State University. This is a very versatile offensive lineman, and he's one of my favorite to watch on film. This guy really gets after it in the running game, and I would just love to imagine a world where we now have Mekhi Becton, Connor McGovern, Creed Humphrey, Wyatt Davis, and George Fant all in the same offensive line. Hey, Cameron Clark, maybe he could come in there and compete and take out McGovern's job. I mean, just think of all of the youth we would have on our offensive line and a ton of talent. So this pick is just fantastic. And again, I would really love to see him on the Jets because I know he would help us in the running game. Round 3, pick 66, I have the New York Jets selecting cornerback Elijah Molden out of Washington. This is a smaller DB who's going to play really nicely at the slot position at the NFL level. He does not have elite speed, but this is a guy that has really, really good football instincts. So he knows the game really well, and he makes a lot of plays by baiting the quarterbacks into making throws when he knows where they're looking and where they're going to throw. So I just really like him at the next level, and I really like him on the Jets because hopefully Brian Poole's still sitting out there. Maybe the Jets could get him back on another 1-year deal and let this kid learn a little bit and then maybe come on later in the season and play some more snaps. So we're not really counting on him to be an outside cornerback, but we do need a young slot cornerback for the future, and I think that's what Elijah Molden would offer. Round 3, pick 86, I have the New York Jets selecting tight end Brevin Jordan out of Miami. This is actually one of my sneaky favorite picks in the NFL draft coming up here. I would really love to get Brevin Jordan. So one of the players that I've loved in this entire draft process, and it's an obvious guy, Kyle Pitts is just an absolute freak of nature. And I'm not saying that Brevin Jordan is Kyle Pitts. No way is he, because Kyle Pitts is a rare breed. But Brevin Jordan kind of reminds me of like a George Kittle in the sense that he's a very explosive receiver. He can really go down the seam and make plays down the field. And I feel like Brevin Jordan, we're getting that kind of a player, somebody that can really stretch the middle of the field. We're not relying on him to be George Kittle, of course, because George Kittle is literally a top 3 tight end in the NFL. But I think with Brevin Jordan, what you're talking about here is you're talking about a guy that has maybe even a little bit more athleticism than Chris Herndon, who does have decent athleticism. And again, I saw Brevin Jordan. I've been watching his film lately. He does line up as a wide receiver on some plays. So I think that having that versatility in his game already before he's gotten to the NFL is only a plus. So I would really like to see Brevin Jordan, Chris Herndon, Tyler Kroft all competing for a tight end, a role on this team, because they are going to feature the tight end with this new San Francisco Shanahan kind of offense. Round 4, pick 107, I have the New York Jets selecting Kenneth Gainwell, running back out of Memphis. This is a guy that has not that many touches in college, and I think that that's something that's undervalued in running backs coming out of the draft. Coming out into the draft. You don't want a guy that's had 1 million touches in college football. That tends to wear them out faster. And this is a guy that played in 2019 and produced at a very, very high level. 1,459 rushing yards, 13 touchdowns, 51 receptions for 610 yards, and 3 receiving touchdowns to boot. He opted out of 2020. He would fit the scheme beautifully. He's got a ton of speed. He really shows good footwork and good catching ability as well. So I think Kenneth Gainwell, and you consider LaMichael Pirine being a little bit more of a physical running back. I think Kenneth Gainwell, LaMichael Pirine, Tevin Coleman, that's a nice stable of running backs right there. And Ty Johnson, I didn't even mention, he'd be a great fit as well into that mix. So sign me up for Kenneth Gainwell in the 4th round. We get some more explosive playmakers on offense for Zach Wilson. Round 5, pick 146, I have the New York Jets selecting Jalen Darden, wide receiver out of North Texas. This is a very dynamic, explosive wide receiver. Although he is small, he has many, many other positives in his game. He is very, very quick and elusive. He can make plays on special teams. He was a punt returner in 2017 and in 2019. And I'm drafting him with the hopes that he'll be just a special teamer his rookie year, and then he'll be able to move into the slot once Jamison Crowder's contract expires after this year. So is it a pick that he's going to be a starter this year? No. But again, you want to find guys in these mid-rounds that can contribute on special teams and can have future roles on the team eventually. The only worry that I have is he might not actually be here at pick 146. I think this is probably my biggest fanboy pick here. I really would love to see him in the 5th round. If we could get him in round 4, I'd be just as satisfied. So we may not end up with both Kenneth Gainwell and Jalen Darden at these 4th and 5th round picks. But hey, you never know. Maybe Joe Douglas uses some picks to move up. We never know what he's going to do. But I think Jalen Darden would be a really a solid pick for the Jets for now and for the future. Round 5, pick 154, I have the New York Jets selecting cornerback Radarius Williams out of Oklahoma State. This is a tall, long DB. The Jets are really in need of an outside cornerback, and I do believe that this is a little bit of a swing here. Hopefully this is the kind of player that you can take in the 5th round who can just kind of blossom in the scheme and with all the coaching and the pass rushers that we're going to have. So I think that cornerback in the later rounds actually is worth a swing. Richard Sherman was drafted in the 5th round. There's many cornerbacks, many players at other positions that have succeeded in the late rounds. And I like part of his game. He does play good off coverage, as well as doing a pretty good job of using his hands in press coverage. So I could see him with his long arms and with his ability to bump and run. I think he could actually be a decent cover corner in the zone scheme that we're going to likely be using more often than not. So I'm swinging for the fences. I'm going for a cornerback that can play on the outside, adding somebody who can play and learn the game with Bryce Hall and with Elijah Molden that we just drafted in the 3rd round. Round 6, pick 186, I have the New York Jets selecting center Jimmy Morrissey out of Pitt. This is a 4-year starter at Pitt. He's a team captain. He's a technician. This is not a guy that has the expectation of becoming a starter right away. And since we drafted Creed Humphrey at center earlier in the draft, this is actually a really good pick because, again, he fits the scheme really nicely. He's never going to be counted on to become the starter, the full-time starter of this team. And again, you don't want to see a situation where if Creed Humphrey gets hurt, Connor McGovern's going to have to slide back to center, and then somebody else is going to have to come into the starting lineup too. It messes all of that offensive line cohesion up and all of that chemistry up. So by drafting 2 centers, we're now giving ourselves a situation where if we do have an injury, we're not re-scrambling our entire offensive line. And so, yeah, I get it. Round 6, we're drafting a backup. If you want a complete football team, you need to plan sometimes, and you need to take backups in these late round picks. And that's what I did with Jimmy Morrissey at this pick. And with the final pick, round 6, pick 226, I have the New York Jets selecting Jose Borregales out of Miami, the kicker. This is one of the best kickers, if not the best kicker that's ever gone through the Miami program. He had an outstanding 2020 season. He kicked 20 out of 22 field goal attempts. He was 37 out of 37 on all of his extra points. He was 100% accurate. And then he also had 9 out of 11 from 40 or more and was perfect from 40 or less. So this is a guy that's not going to miss those chippies. He's going to hit those in very accurately. And he also has a boot of a leg, 51 touchbacks on 72 kickoff attempts. He also hit a 57-yard field goal. So this is a guy that's going to not have any issues kicking at MetLife Stadium and in New Jersey. I think that we just drafted Braden Mann in the 6th round last year. I think this would be an outstanding addition to our special teams. And please don't kid yourself. Special teams wins and loses games every single week in the NFL. So kickers matter, and the New York Jets have struggled with kicker, and I'm tired of it. So we're going to use the last pick on kicker Jose Borregales. That's going to conclude the draft. So let me know what you guys think in the comments about my mock draft. I only took 2 defensive players. I didn't take any linebackers. I didn't take any edge rushers. So if you hate my draft, if you hate my mock, it's all good. I don't mind it. Come at me in the comments and let me know what you guys think I should have done at certain picks. Maybe there was a position that you thought I should have passed on or a player that I selected. If you don't agree with the pick, I just want to hear you guys. And of course, I also want to hear if you loved my draft and if you thought that it was a good draft to help support Zach Wilson. I would love to hear that. That was my emphasis, was to pick players that I felt could really stabilize our offense. It has been hemorrhaging for too long, and we need to start scoring some damn points. That's going to do it for this video. Thank you so much for watching NYJ Today. If you could all do me a favor and jet up the like button, and if you're new here and you enjoyed the content, please consider subscribing to the channel. We love having you in our streams every single week. We love the interaction with you guys. Hope you all have a great day. Go Jets. See you guys next time.